Hey, good evening. I'm Stephen Graves. David and Regina have the night off. Well, right off the top, everyone's talking about it right after today's heavy rains. We have yet another one ahead right here. Check out this storm off to the west. Yeah, that's headed our way. So let's check in with Jeff Lawson, who is tracking the system to get you prepared for your Tuesday. Jeff?
Yeah, unlike today, most of the rain tomorrow is going to be in the afternoon. Of course, we had really heavy rain early today in many areas. We'll have a couple of spots that'll see that early tomorrow, but really for most of us, it'll tend to be later in the day. You can see what was out there dying out, at least locally, but you can also see down here not too far to our south and west near Raleigh, that is actually holding together. Speaking of, and we'll get to that in a minute, how much rain fell earlier today? Well, in parts of Virginia Beach, almost 5 inches, but at Oceana, only 1.67, just over 2 at Norfolk, 1.3 Newport News, and then different lighter amounts scattered around. Again, the hit and miss variety of showers and storms. So here we go with the stuff out to the west, moving in our general direction overnight, but also tending to weaken. I do expect a few areas, mainly in North Carolina, to have a couple of very isolated showers or storms early tomorrow, just not the massive complex that came across our area, of course, this morning. So what are the big headlines? Well, tomorrow, some downpours again. We could have some stronger storms. Heat and humidity return for midweek. I'll let you know how hot it'll feel. And then a hint of fall. Might be stretching it a little bit, but a hint of fall, in my opinion, is showing up in the forecast late in the week. I'll tell you about that and how that translates into your weekend forecast coming up.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Well, Governor Ralph Northam calling a special session next Thursday to redraw legislative districts that a federal court had found to be racially gerrymandered. Many are right here in Hampton Roads, but redrawing new boundaries could swing political control in the state to Democrats. 13 News Now reporter Robert Boyd explains how.
Well, Stephen, today we spoke with a political science professor who said some of our past state elections have been so close that moving district lines just a little bit could make all the difference when it comes to who gets elected.
You're looking at a youth football practice in Chesapeake, which is part of District 77. This is one of 11 districts in Virginia and 6 in Hampton Roads that could soon be redrawn. Delegate Cliff Hayes is in full support.
And the crux of the matter is that according to race, there has to be a redrawing of the districts in such a way that is done in a fair and equitable manner.
Earlier this year, a federal court ordered Virginia to redraw these 11 districts following a lawsuit that claimed the districts were racially gerrymandered.
And to do nothing, I think, would be a huge mistake and a huge opportunity that's missed. The courts have directed us to go back, reconsider the way that 2011 was drawn.
Old Dominion University political science professor Jesse Richmond says Democrats have a legit concern.
In the last election, 2017, Democrats won some 54% of the statewide vote in the House of Delegates races, but they ended up capturing less than half of the seats.
Richmond says one of the reasons this happens is because there are too many African Americans in one district and not enough in the surrounding districts. And the majority of African Americans vote Democrat.
But you can't simply divide up a minority population such that they have little chance of getting effective representation.
Richmond says redrawing the districts could spread out some of those Democratic votes.
Give Democrats a better chance to hold on to their gains from the last election, and B, to give Democrats perhaps some pickup opportunities for additional seats in the next election.
Republican leaders have already appealed this court decision.
The best outcome for Republicans is that the appeals lead to this court decision being overturned. And so we keep the existing districts, don't redraw anything.
Now, the court ordered that these new boundaries be drawn by October 30th, and they would go into effect for the 2019 election. Robert Boyd, 13 News Now.
A Newport News police officer is accused of driving under the influence with a child in the car. Police arrested Jason Briggs late last night on Ridgeview Drive. They say he was off duty at the time and had a family member under the age of 18 with him. Briggs is free on bond, but faces charges of DWI and contributing to the delinquency of a minor. He's on administrative leave without pay pending an internal investigation. Now to a disturbing case. A 14-year-old boy is recovering in a hospital after police in Newport News say another teen set him on fire with lighter fluid. It happened last night at the park near Peterson's Yacht Basin. We're told the boys argued over who would light charcoal on a grill. That's when police say there was a fight and the 13-year-old poured lighter fluid on the 14-year-old and set him on fire. The victim has third-degree burns to 15% of his body. The other teen is charged with malicious assault. Only on 13 News Now, after months of hard work by a Hampton mother, Governor Ralph Northam is declaring this coming Saturday Bully-Free Virginia Day. It's to bring awareness to the harmful effects of bullying. 13 News Now reporter Chanu Her is here to explain how this all got started. Chanu.
Well, yeah, this was a long time coming and a lot of work for this mother. This was an initiative that Shantae Miller started with her organization, Parents Against Bullying. She and her team drafted this proclamation and sent it to the governor, and it was signed last week. For Shantae, this is a big achievement that she wants to share with everyone.
It's a first of its kind.
And working together to bring the country's first bully-free state. That's huge.
And it's a day Shantae Miller has waited months for as the CEO of Parents Against Bullying.
And I'm just so excited that the governor knows that this is a huge issue and that the state of Virginia is going to be standing against bullying.
In her hands, a proclamation signed by Governor Ralph Northam to declare Saturday, the 25th, Bully-Free Virginia Day, teaming with Shantae's organization where they are committed to protecting citizens by bringing awareness to the dangers of bullying, supporting those affected.
You don't have to be silent, that you can take a stand, and that the state of Virginia is going to take a stand with each and every one of us.
Shantae says bullying is an issue that affects everyone, not just school kids, but even adults, which is why she started Parents Against Bullying and has always pushed for awareness. Her family was personally impacted, almost losing her daughter to a bully years ago.
Every time that I wake up in the morning and I'm able to look at my daughter and she still has breath, being from what we went through 6 years ago, and so many people don't have their children and can't say that they still have their children here and breathing or what have you, I have to make sure that I continue to wake up with that purpose.
A purpose that has sparked a unique day dedicated to her cause.
Now, Shantae says there's more to the day, which she'll announce during the week. She says Harbor Park will also announce its partnership with the group, declaring itself a bully-free zone. Chanu Her, 13 News Now.
New information about the crowds that came out to the SkyStar Ferris wheel in Norfolk these past 3 months. Waterside District officials say while the final numbers are still being counted, they estimate SkyStar had 50,000 riders this summer. Your last chance to ride the Ferris wheel, unfortunately, was last night. Crews are now taking down the 12-story traveling attraction. No word where it's off to next. Well, a fundraiser for a Poquoson man is going strong despite a thief trying to make off with a few bucks. Annette Firth helped put together a fundraiser for a waterman and lifelong Poquoson resident after he broke his neck while playing with his grandchildren. Firth says someone went into the Barking Dog restaurant with a flyer asking for money for the fundraiser. Employees at the restaurant tell 13 News Now they gave the thief a gift card. Firth says the Barking Dog had to replace the donation.
It was very unfortunate that this person thought that she could get away with it, but she was in Poquoson. So you don't get away with it down here. When there's a need, Poquoson steps up.
Well, so far, they've already raised about $7,000 worth of donations. The fundraiser is Sunday at 1 at the Surf's Up Seafood Restaurant in Poquoson. Well, a woman attacked and killed by an alligator in South Carolina. This comes just months after another deadly gator attack in Florida. ABC's Elizabeth Herr walks us through these horrifying incidents.
A deadly alligator attack is under investigation in South Carolina after officials say a woman out walking her dog was killed by an alligator at least 9 feet long.
The alligator apparently made the contact, what we think is with a leash that she had the dog on, and dragged her approximately 14 feet into the lagoon.
According to eyewitnesses, the woman, identified as 45-year-old Cassandra Klein, was near a lagoon on Hilton Head Island when she was pulled underwater.
The dog is fine. It appears that the alligator grabbed the leash instead of the dog and it was some sort of a basically tug of war with her trying to get the dog back.
This happening just 2 months after a Florida woman, also out walking her dogs, was dragged into a lake and killed by an alligator. Experts telling ABC News, while unfortunate, alligators attacking people is rare.
These accidents happen simply as that, as accidents.
Still warning against walking by water with children and pets.
Reality is alligators would much rather feed on raccoons, possums, ducks, small mammals. They really don't want anything to do with humans.
Back in South Carolina, officials say they believe they have removed and euthanized the alligator involved in the latest incident. Elizabeth Hur, ABC News, New York.